All right. So the advice that I would offer, we come from a society that have long neglected individual soul, right?
Mm,
Uh, we have not prioritized systems that prioritize survival. We have prioritized systems that emphasize on survival over self-awareness. We have and basically as a result, many of us inherit ways uh, of being that ignore our emotional wounds, downplay our physical health, and silence our inner voice. And we have a shared history that to some extent we're still trying to come to terms with. And in most reasons as to why I got into the personal development space was to be able to advise on ways that we could overcome limitations that have been caused with the unfortunate history that we all share. Most of the walls that I built in my life personally were on the basis of things that I learned growing up or things that I've seen, um, and, and things that were, to some extent, things that at a young age I had no business being exposed to. But as life unfolds, really we're forced to confront the things that are now getting in the way of us being able to secure a better future. And I feel like once we attend to our health, we're able to overcome psychological, physical, and other issues that hinder our progress and stop us from being able to take the steps in life. So the priority of self-care, putting time into yourself, is the advice that I would ask people to get in to start really considering as something that has to be the foundation of anything else that you want to build in life. So you probably want a great career, you want a great family, you want a great life in general. And most of us don't want to get into the conversation on what it requires to be able to achieve that, even though most of the masters that we follow, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Buddha, depending on what doctrine you choose, there is a consistent example on having to attend to yourself, having to spend time with yourself, doing things that are uncomfortable. There is an emphasis on that. And for me, the role that I've played, whether me being a dancer, was to help kids be able to find activities that they could do outside of things that were distracting us. Because if you do remember us growing up in Rwanda, there wasn't much activities other than basketball, probably going somewhere to play ball or playing soccer with your neighbors. You had all these things happening, but then of course you also influenced to go out, drink, and stuff like that. So that was mostly the influence that came from the societies that we grew up in. And that the habits that we took from that are not allowing us to be able to go to the next level. What got you here will not get you to the next place. If the next place is clarity, it's vitality, it's all these things that describe a great life, it's going to require you to do the things that suck. 75 hard challenge is that thing that sucks. It has the systems, everything that have been put in place to enable you to start confronting the limitations that are there in your life, procrastinations, lack of clarity. The 75 has the tools to be able to help you do that. Now, if you haven't attended to your health in a long time and you haven't worked out in a long time for whatever reasons, there are many reasons, health, many reasons. 75 hard challenge could be a huge step. To a point, you might get to a point where discipline starts becoming something you don't hate rather than something that you need to welcome in your life.
Mm.
Someone who's just getting started, would I advise them to get into the 75? It's probably not the thing to advise you to do, because that could put too much pressure on your nervous system, and it could end up being not the best thing to do for certain individuals.
Yeah, you're right.
So in that place, what can you do? The next thing that you could probably do is do your best, right? Maybe it's that 1 minute it's that 5 minutes that you have before you go to work. Maybe it's that lunch where you have about an hour for lunch, and maybe you can squeeze in a 10-minute walk outside in the sun to just soak in those rays and be able to feel better at the end of the day. Make the goal so small that you cannot fail.
Wow.
And create your own challenge based on what you're able to do. But then it presents a challenge in itself. I could tell someone, okay, you don't have 30 minutes to work out. You don't have an hour. Okay, great. Can we be consistent with working out for 5 minutes every day? If we can put in that and then measure it in the next year, you will have had lots of time of training, and you're definitely going to feel the effects of it. So my advice, if you really want to hit a huge reset to your life, get into the 75. It's definitely the place to go. I've tried it. I'm doing it right now as we speak. I'm into it 35 days in, 34. And the reason I do it is outside of my weight. It's outside of wanting to gain the muscle. It's outside of anything else that would satisfy someone's eyes. Okay, yeah, he's doing the 75. I can see it. Then no, that if you go in with that intention, what we see with our eyes, there is a great delay. But to how you feel, it's almost immediately. It's almost immediately. As soon as you go outside for a 10-minute walk, you won't need to wait 30 days in order for you to see the results of that. You're going to feel it in the next 10 minutes after you sit down. You're going to feel it. So self-improvement, discipline is all about awareness. We are attempting to create awareness. When you go to do something that is physically exhausting, or you're going out in the sun to walk, these things that pose discomfort raise your awareness. Your awareness is raised. You're able to see things better due to once you feel that awareness, you now start to confront all the barricades that you have placed there through your experiences, through your historical facts, through your traditions. All these blockages that you have in your life that stop you from enjoying it to the fullest can fall off due to awareness. When people go to run, when people go to the gym, they're not going there for muscles. Ultimately, probably if you talk to them, they might tell you, yes, I'm going there to train my muscles to, and there are people who are competing and that's their ultimate goal. But then for the regular human being out there who's just has a job, they're not trying to compete in no athletic competitions, they're not trying to run a marathon. You attending to yourself, going to the gym, going outside to walk, working out at home, putting on a YouTube TV and following along that video and working out. All those things are creating an awareness in your body, which is ultimately going to give you an insight on your internal dialogue, which has probably been there ever since you're a baby. That internal dialogue was it was innocent at a very young age. It's that internal dialogue that took you to go play with the dirt on the side. You're creating these characters with little, if you remember as a child, it was easy for you to engage with that internal dialogue.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
create these humans outside of you, these, how do you call them again? These friends, they're not there. Your mind has these ways of creating things. But then you grew up, you became a teenager. But then the experiences that came with that life presented to you limitations that you probably have. Or you saw limitations that others had, and you automatically thought that you probably carry similar limitations. And all these things that you have accumulated have now created the very character that you see in the mirror when you stand in the morning looking at yourself. How do you now overcome all these things that you have built? It's through rigorous, consistent, self-imposed struggle. Now, we can take even a step further, and we can also confront, okay, maybe you're unable to move for some reason. There is a condition you probably have, you're unable to move. Something is broken. At the end of the day, what the 75 is attempting to pass along can also be done without you having to move a finger. One would ask how. If in those 75 hard, you can practice gratitude, you can practice understanding that the world or life is not working against you, it's working for you. And you practice that mental state on a daily basis, you're still able to actually create immense change in yourself and immense change around you. If you just understand that it's all about understanding that this life is working to benefit you. Every situation that unfolded, whether it was a negative one, whether it was a positive one, it's all contributing to this future you're attempting to achieve. Now, it doesn't look like what you planned. You want to achieve a certain goal. Once you put it out in the universe's job is to create obstacles to prove to yourself that you want it as much as you say that you do. If you want a healthy family, if you want a career that's where you're continuously striving, if you want a life that is sweet, it's gonna require you to do the work. We can attempt to skip all that part, but the work is all mental. It starts mental. It starts mentally. If I had to take it back to see where most of my personal change started, my personal change started when I sat in silence. As a matter of fact, I was showing my wife this. I made a video meditating in 2017. I don't know, 2016, 15. That was my first meditation. I put a phone on the side and I recorded a time lapse just to see how I look meditating, because I was curious on how crazy. I went outside in the woods. It was in the back of the house. And that moment is what changed everything in my life.
Wow.
That very moment is when I saw it all. Of course, at that time, I probably didn't even see anything. As far as I was concerned at that time, my eyes was closed and I was attempting to meditate. But if I look closely at what transpired from that moment on, I started to prioritize myself. I started to prioritize the workouts. I started prioritizing being outside more often. But it all started with awareness. It all started with sitting down and meditating for the first time.
Mm.
And now you understand that meditation is probably harder than me having to tell you to do the 75. The meditation is harder.
Oh, it's
People want to sit with their thoughts. Their thoughts are the most difficult thing for them to confront, because these thoughts don't only carry the life that they're dealing with right now, but it's also carrying a past life. It's a DNA, it's a transgenerational trauma, something that is completely affecting you and you don't know where it even comes from. And as an adult, we feel it the most, because now life is demanding us to be the best, to secure the job, have the family that is all healthy, the pressures of society, all coming knocking at the door at the same time, and you're trying to make it out. Usually, most people who are not aware at that level of their life, at that stage of their life, usually go to look for things to distract them. Some of us we get into sex, others get into alcohol, others it's hard drugs, and eventually the dark cloud that hangs on top of you ever since you were a teenager, unaddressed issues now become even much bigger with the addition of substances, with the addition of the substances that are now coming on top of these unresolved issues. So that's awareness. Awareness is understanding the dialogue that's happening in your mind, because we're constantly distracted. And in this world, our parents dealt with a world that was extremely difficult. There was a lot of them to confront. But the amount of distraction that we're dealing with as children is something that they never experienced. This is a whole other different world where your only superpower is your awareness. That's the only thing that you can offer the world. And there's no way to get to awareness there's definitely a way to get to awareness if you ignore your body. You could really get there, but it requires heroic acts. It requires you sitting like the Buddha under a tree for a certain amount of time and really making peace with your mind. 99.9% of people don't want to do that. So the alternate goal is to start feeling your body. How do you feel your body? You move it. And once you move your body, once you change your physiology, you can easily access your mind. And once you access your mind, now you understand the internal dialogue that's going on. And once you understand that and you continuously up the amount of challenge that you bring to your body, you can now address those thoughts, those self-limiting beliefs on what is possible and what's not possible. And once you get there, it's going to feed everything else in your life. Your life is going to work out based on the foundation. But everybody wants to skip the foundation and get to the success and get to the cars and get to the house, get to the everything working out. And most of the times, it never works. It never works. You could achieve the world. You could achieve the world. But once you get out there, if the top is lonely, right? If the top is lonely and you're up there and in your mind as well, you feel like you're lonely, all that wealth that you have accumulated, you will have to spend it just to keep yourself above ground. We've seen generations come and go, wealthy individuals who had the money and lacked the vitality. And you could see them popping pills right there just to be able to sleep. And they could have given given up everything just to have a heart that pumps without needing pills or a pacemaker that is attached to your chest. They could give everything. But in this world that prioritizes productivity, input, output, we can easily forget that the true joy of life is being able to look at your current circumstances right there where you are and be satisfied with where it is. Have aspirations, have desires of things that you want to achieve, but take care of the basics. Because the dream, the good things that you want to achieve, the life that you want to achieve, you cannot build it on a foundation of sand, right? If we're going to be biblical, if we're going to go biblical on things, you cannot construct anything on a foundation of sand, leave alone a house. Most of us, we build our careers, our wealth, our lives on the basis of things that we have accumulated. But the only accumulation that you want to actually have as a human being is really being in tune with yourself. That's the only one that you need. Actually, I don't think it's an accumulation. It's more of like a release. Let go. And then once you get there, I think life becomes sweet regardless of your financial circumstances, regardless of the situation that you're going through. Anything will be resolved by the fact that you have become more aware. You're aware of your thoughts. You know what thoughts to discard. You know what thoughts to tolerate. But in this world, most people are not aware that they even have a voice. As a matter of fact, if you tell them about a voice, you're bringing about demonic conversations. Those are conversations that they don't understand. But even science backs up the fact that we have a voice. Like it's no longer a woo-woo science. It's psychologically, it's there. And the inner voice has more influence on your subconscious. So if the inner voice tells you it hates that person, you're gonna do actions and you're gonna make decisions based on what that inner voice is convincing you to do. And once you learn that that inner voice has been your making, that inner voice did not just fall into you. You made it. You created that dialogue. You created these narratives on what is acceptable for you and what is not. And once you get to a place of no preferences, I don't have any preferences. Life is just unfolding, and I'm here to just ride this wave as far as it can go. And my advice is that raise your awareness. If you can sit down for meditation, if maybe working out, doing a 75, it's probably a hard thing. I could advise to start practicing to sit down for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for optimal, with your own thoughts. and then see what that transpires in the next 30 days. If you're consistent, the goal here is consistency. Create the environment, just like the atomic bomb advises us to do. Create the environment that allows those habits to be able to stick. Show up every day, and then eventually that habit is going to build. You're going to start seeing those thoughts that get in the way of you having to show up for yourself, wanting to improve, because that's what the thoughts do. They tell you you're not unworthy. They tell you you're an African. You come from a place where there's nothing. So who do you think you are? That's what the thought says, because that's all we've been told ever since we're kids. Maybe if we were born in Texas, maybe we would be hearing something different. And I think it also played a role in bringing us right here, right now, sitting on this podcast, talking. It's all a result of having gone through that past life and eventually learning that there is a better way of living. And now we are focused on wanting to spread this message to the rest of the world, right? Especially our people, right? Because it's not a lot of people creating this space, right? It's not a lot of people into the self-improvement space. It's a very difficult thing for people to start even entertaining, especially in our community, right? Our community prioritizes making money over anything else. If you're making money, you've become successful. No, if you're able to have a great relationship with your significant other, if you're able to have a great relationship with your colleagues, you have good friends around you, that is wealth. That is wealth. And wealth is a state of feeling. It's not what you've accumulated in your bank account. It's how you feel. And once you get to a point where you no longer want to be like anybody, I can't look at Bill Gates. I can't look at Elon Musk. And there used to be a time I looked at them, I wish I could be you. There was a time I would look at all these huge people, bigger than life. I want to accumulate as much money as you have, but I'm at a place where I'm comfortable. I wouldn't trade anything for this vessel that has been given to me for a very limited time, right? Very limited. And this limitation forces me to create urgency within my community to understand that self-improvement is the thing that's going to take us on the next level. What got us here is not what's going to be required to get us on the next level. We got here with pain, with survival, with historical facts that were extremely difficult. And then the next level of us having to create societies and communities that are strong, that support each other, will require a different type of people, a different type of community. And that simply requires awareness. That would be my advice.
Wow. Okay. That's
Well, it's a long advice.
No, you covered every point. I think you covered. Definitely. Oh my God. Yeah. Whoever picks that up. Yeah, it's life changing. No, I appreciate it, man. And at the end of the day, you speak from the heart. At the end of the day, I doubt you thought you'd be pouring out yourself like that, but I know it's coming from a genuine place. I know you. I've talked to you. So no, I truly appreciate it, man. For me, I think my advice is just simple, man. It's unless your doctor says you don't do it and you can't not be able to do it. But I know doing the 75 and being consistent and challenging yourself to do something you've never done before. And it could simply be walking. You could do 2 walks. You could do a walk indoor and a walk outdoor. You could walk around your house for 45 minutes. That's a workout. Then you can walk outside for 45 minutes. And then read a book. 10 pages? 10 pages is not much, and have fun with it. And don't do it chasing the feeling or expectation for the reward to happen now. Just let it play out and let the 75 days end, and then reflect, or you can reflect weekly. But it's not as hard as I thought it was, because I made it hard on myself. But if you feel stuck, if you feel confused, if you feel you don't know where to start, just do it. Just do it. And yeah, I think it's it's a calling to each one of us. What is that thing I can do to get myself out of this discomfort, to better myself, and to do something completely out of me and that I'm considering challenging, and having the faith and the faith that something new is going to come out of this. So, but I'm with you, man. Thank you for getting me on this. It's wild because you're one of the first people I was thinking of doing a podcast with. I had no idea you're doing a 75 right now.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah, it's been 35 days. Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
Man, I'll leave it up to you. I think I got all the lessons I needed. My knee.
Surprisingly, I'm enjoying it better than I enjoyed it the first time.
I can imagine, because you're probably calmer. You're not overstressing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
With my wife, so it's also helped.
yeah. Oh, that is beautiful, man. That is beautiful. Yeah. So I appreciate you making time to be with us here, Ganza, man. It's I know you have, your wife, you have kids. I love your kids. Just,
Thank you.
I'm always wowed by Michaela's post. I'm like, that's why I'd be checking. Like, yo, did you write this? No, we were shocked. I'm like, what? So it's amazing, man. It's amazing. I'm truly inspired and thankful for the work you do, because at the end of the day, when you work on yourself, you are helping other people, and it all starts with you, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. Any last words or anything else, man?
Absolutely. Elvis, first, congratulations on launching this. It's I'm keeping in touch with everything that you've put out so far. There's really great value that you're offering to the world, and I think it's gonna come back to you tenfold. Really, I cherish our relationship. Our family are close knit. And it has always been a pleasure having you on my corner and supporting me in any way, shape, or form. I think it's the same thing on me. Like anything that I have to support you, I'm gonna be there. And yes, I'm really excited to see what your podcast is gonna do. How it's gonna change people. I've seen already a lot of people have reached out to me to tell me how much it's impacted them. Folks I've shared it with, I have lots of friends in Rwanda dealing with substance abuse at a very deep level, and I'm sharing your episodes with them. And they are coming back to me, really just taking into value and understanding ways to address whatever they're dealing with. So yeah, man, thank you for bringing me here. I think this conversation was deep. It was, it's definitely gonna move the needle in terms of getting people to get up and understand that prioritizing ourselves and prioritizing our health, mental health, is definitely the way forward. That is the rise of Africa. Is us starting to confront these limitations that have been imposed on us by many people for many years, and having these platforms, seeing Africans talking, is quite refreshing.
Oh, awesome, man. Appreciate it, Ganza, man. Thank you once again. Thank you for making time. We had no idea. I thought this would go for an hour, but I love it. Yeah, it's 3. So, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here during the 75 challenge.
Yes.
So, yeah, appreciate it, man. Until next time. And we'll have definitely more dialogues and different topics we can carve out, and just be vulnerable, man, because everyone goes through life. We all go through life, and we're not better than anyone. We're just trying to be better. So hopefully we can be better than we were yesterday. And it takes accountability on each of us. So thank you for being a good example. And always when I check in, it always manifests, and it comes true. And that's why, honestly, it's such a pleasure for me to have you as my first guest. So thank you, my brother.
Pleasure was all mine. I'm honored.
Awesome, brother, man. Until next time. Appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
No, I take care, man. Peace.